If you shoot a lot of landscape photography, the likelihood is that you shoot in the RAW file format instead of JPEG. RAW files hold more tonal data than JPEGs, and this gives you more tolerance to edit them once you're back at the computer. Of course, you'll need some RAW conversion software, and one of the most popular options out there is Adobe Lightroom. So, in this video, we're going to walk through my editing process for perfecting landscapes in Lightroom. What's more, this workflow means that you can edit a frame in less than 5 minutes. Let's get started. With your images imported into Lightroom, our first job is to crop into the image to suit your tastes. There's no point editing pixels if you're not going to use them, so head to the right-hand side of the interface and select the crop tool. Now, you can either crop in on this, or you can place the mouse outside the frame and rotate. And you'll see in my image, I just need to straighten up that lighthouse, and you can use these level marks to make sure that the horizon is also straight. So once you're happy with that, you can execute the crop by pressing return. There we go. Okay, with that done, you can now decide to edit fully manually without any presets, or you can head to the left-hand side of the interface and use one of Lightroom's one-click presets, either using ones you've created yourself or bought and imported, or by using the default presets. My personal favourite is found in the colour folder and is the matte option. So I'm going to click on this, one click, and the image will change. You'll see the parameters on the right-hand side and the Basics tab have also changed. Now, when you click on this option, your image will tend to look quite underexposed, but don't worry, as we'll fix this as we go on. Now, our next job is to show as much of the dynamic range as possible. So head back to the Basic tab and increase the shadows by dragging the slider to the right. And you can rescue detail in the sky by dragging the highlight slider to the left. Obviously, the amount these sliders will need to be dragged will depend on your specific image. Now we'll pay some more attention to the exposure by heading back to the Basics tab and looking at the exposure slider. Now, if your image is too bright, drag the slider to the left. If it's too dark, drag it to the right. Now, let's turn our attention to colour. The matte preset desaturates the frame, so I'm going to correct this by dragging both the saturation slider and the vibrance slider to the right. Don't go too far or it will compromise image quality, but also you want the image to pop as well, so try and find a nice happy medium. This frame is a bit too blue for me and it doesn't reflect the nice sunset that greeted me at this location, so I'm going to adjust the colour temperature. This is at the top of the Basics tab, and I'm going to drag the temp to the right and also the tint to the right too. You'll see that's a much warmer frame. So let's just see exactly where we've come from. So this was our start image, and these are the changes we've made so far, all done pretty quickly. We're nearly there, so I'm going to quickly finish up the sliders by heading to the Lens Correction tab. I'm going to click on the Remove Chromatic Aberration box and enable Profile Corrections. Now this can change the frame quite dramatically, especially if you've used a ultra wide angle lens like a 14mm optic, and you'll see the corners have lightened. So I'm going to scroll down a bit further to post-crop vignetting and drag the amount to the left to add some darkness back into the corners. Now, as I said, we're pretty much done, but one trick I like to use when editing landscapes with lead-in lines is to lighten the root of that line so the viewer's eye follows it into the frame. Head to the top right and click on the Mask options. Create New Mask and select Brush. Now you can change the size of the brush with the square bracket keys, and also you can toggle the red overlay on and off using O key. So I'm going to just paint in over these pixels here where the walkway is, changing the size of the brush as I go. There we go. And once it's selected, head back over to the right hand side of the interface, select Exposure slider. I'm just going to drag this to the right to lighten the causeway, just to bring that interest so it leads the viewer's eye right up to the lighthouse. Okay, let's take one more look at our before and after. This is what we started with. A pretty flat, uninspiring image that was underexposed had pretty flat colour and not much impact. And here's what we got to with just 5 minutes spent in Lightroom, altering adjustments and taking a bit of care to convert our image. I hope you've enjoyed this software video and be sure to like, subscribe and comment.